at the start. I know Darwin doesn't speak any English, but Alison, you're going to, as well as be goalkeeper, you're going to be translator. Just ask him before he goes how extraordinary a day that was for him and what it means to be Liverpool's hero.
Foi grande dia, extraordinário dia para ti e como tu te sente aí por ter sido o homem da partida nesse jogo.
La verdad que me siento muy bien, muy contento por el equipo, por la entrega de mis compañeros. La verdad que lo hicieron muy bien después de la expulsión de Berg. Quedamos con 10 jugadores y es muy difícil mantener un partido y cuando vas perdiendo 1-0. La verdad que supimos tener cabeza y controlar el juego y la verdad que estoy muy feliz, muy satisfecho por el trabajo que vengo haciendo y la verdad que felicitar a mis compañeros.
Trent, going to translate for us? I'm joking.
Ali, I can translate that? No, he said he's very happy. He say about the team did a really good job after we were one last player on the pitch after Verge got the red card, and we work really hard for this kind of moments. And he said mainly that he's very happy to come in and to help the team. With 2 goals and it was a great performance from the team and he's really happy.
Tell him well done, brilliant. He's the player of the match, and Darwin can go and see the rest of his teammates.
Muito bem, parabéns pela performance e teu homem da partida.
Bueno, muchas gracias y esto se lo dedico a mis compañeros por la entrega.
Isso aí tu pode dizer em inglês.
A couple of words?
Thank you for support.
Very good. Thank you. Trent, for a team that's done it all, even for that, I mean, what an extraordinary day.
It's unbelievable, to be honest. It was something very special out there today. You know, you come here with a game plan.
Went out the window quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. You come here with a game plan. You want to dictate possession. You want to control the game. You want to try and kill the atmosphere as quick as possible and as much as possible, because you know that's a big advantage for them. But that wasn't the case, and we've had to do it the hard way, the very hard way. And I think we have made it difficult, but you know, out there we dug deep. We all pulled in together. It was something for the ages, to be honest. One of our best performances since, you know, the manager's come in, and we've had some outstanding performances as a team, as individuals, but I think we'll look back on this game as something very, very special.
Alison, within the group, do you just feel like only Liverpool can do things like that?
Yeah, you cannot take Liverpool underestimated even in a game like that, but to be honest, even when we play against them here last season, they had 1 player sent off and was really hard to play against 10 men. When you play as a unit, you can do so many things on the pitch. You can make the pitch be smaller. With the quality that we have in the team, we can do so many things. And we said in the changing room in the halftime that we should believe we're going to have chances. And we should believe that we are capable of doing something here tonight, and we did it. I think this is on the history among the so many games that we play, so many.
Just behind Barcelona, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I think that game, no comparison. But this one is one of a kind.
Trent, right towards the end, I think it was perhaps an injury time. You're in the corner and you just let out such an outpouring of emotion. What's going through your mind there? The first half an hour, perhaps?
You know how difficult it is. I think you dig together as a team. I mean, it sounds strange, but almost going down to 10 men, it brings the team tighter and closer together. It makes you stronger. And you have to do the extra yards. You have to fill in the gaps. You can't switch off. And we've all pulled together. Like Ali said, we spoke at half time about the belief that we had for what we wanted to do.
And did you genuinely believe?
I mean, you don't genuinely believe you're going to win the game, but you know if you stick together, you've got chances. And I think, you know, the mentality at half time is, you know, you're not coming out here and you're not trying to, you know, score 2 goals straight away. You want to hang into the last 10-15 minutes, give yourself a chance, and know that they'll get tired as well, and you'll hit them on the counter. And I think we've executed that game plan. We changed, and the lads that came on, outstanding. Jarrell Kwanzaa, absolutely phenomenal in his first game for us, coming on in an atmosphere and an environment like this is extraordinary, and to hold his own in the way he's performed is outstanding. You know, everyone, Darwin, Harvey, everyone that came on was outstanding.
Just at the start, after the booking, which perhaps you're a bit unlucky with, I mean, your heart must have been in your mouth when you pull back Anthony Gordon.
Nah, then things, it's always difficult, especially when you're away from home. You know, they can go against you, and you know, it was a bit of a mistake from me, and you know, it didn't help with the crowd on top of me and the team. And
you just tell the people at home, because very few people have that experience where a really vociferous crowd like that gets on top of you and you make a mistake. How hard is it then to steady yourself?
Oh, it is, of course, but you know, luckily me and the team are experienced in these things. We've played in difficult environments, we've played in difficult games, difficult situations, and we've been able to pull through. So we knew deep down that we had a chance to carry on and go and perform. Of course, concede the goal. We got a man sent off, but deep down we always believed we could leave with a result. And to leave here with 3 points is a good thing and a very, very difficult thing, but to do it in the way that we did was something that you know, we'll be very proud of, and we'll look back on this game with fond memories.
And lastly, Alex, your most ever saves in a Premier League game, were you just thinking, if I can keep my team in it, keep it to 1-0, then perhaps we can do something extraordinary?
Was that many?
Look, I mean, I'll tell you what the best one was that sticks in my mind. There was one from Almiron, I think, at 1-0.
Yeah, I remember that one. That one was really good. I'm here for that. This is part of my job. I'm there to help the team, and the team is there to try to help me and to avoid them to have chances. But if they have, I always say it to the boys, somebody needs to be closer to the shot, making it more difficult to the striker or who is shooting, and making my life easier as well to read the moment. But today was about passion. Today was about believing to the end. Like coming from after the game, we played against Bournemouth as well with 30 minutes without Maka as well, showed already how good we could be with 10 men. We have to take that now forward and do that with 11 players, keep that high level, focus in every challenge, focus in every moment, and really believe that we can do something this season, something special this season with this team. So many talks around us about our feelings about the transfer window. Please don't put words in our mouth. We are together, we believe in ourselves, and we showed that here against Newcastle in a really tough place, getting the 3 points after the circumstances. So this is something that we have to use. It will be even better for us if we can use this forward now.
Well done. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. Well done.
Alisson and Trent Alexander-Arnold there, and earlier Darwin Nunez with his 2 goals and the Player of the Match award. He talked about that willingness, or that want to use this result in order to springboard to success this season. He said they want to be able to do something special this season. Can they do that from 1 game, 3 matches into this new season?
Well, listen, Liverpool have been Manchester City's biggest rivals for the last sort of 4 or 5 years. Arsenal come to the fore last season, but why can't Liverpool be that team again this season? And it was interesting, he mentioned a transfer window and then went on to something else. I don't really know what that means, but that squad right now that Liverpool have, I don't think is good enough to challenge Manchester City. But they've got to go for it this week in terms of bringing it, maybe I think another defender in for me, and a midfield player. That has to happen, because Liverpool can still be the biggest rivals to Manchester City. They've made a decent start, more than a decent start to the season. But when you've got someone like him, who I think is a world-class goalkeeper, maybe the best goalkeeper in the world, you've got Virgil van Dijk there and Mo Salah. These are players who are not coming to their end of the career, but they're in sort of that stage where you're thinking, if Liverpool are going into something big again, it probably has to happen in the next year or two. So really go for it in this week, last week of the transfer market, to get a squad where you think that is good enough to really challenge certainly Manchester City in this league, because he deserves it more than anybody. In
order to maintain that momentum and not to let it slip too far behind them. Talking about momentum, Liverpool got on the front foot in the last 10 minutes of that game. Darwin Nunez came on 77 minutes, and on 81 minutes Liverpool were level. How did it happen, Andrew?
I think it's like I spoke about after the game. I think it's Newcastle, because they're so dominant, because they were making Liverpool turn the ball over high up the pitch. They're still pressing. 81st minutes, they're still pressing. They're still man for man. Of course they get a bit of luck here, Liverpool, but you've got to say it's a great finish from Nunez. I think he snatched at his first touch a few minutes before, but this one here, I don't know if he catches the keeper unaware, Shay, shooting from this angle, but it's a great finish.
No, I don't think so. I think Nick Pope's in a really good position. He's set. I just think it's a world-class finish. And Andros is right. They get a bit of luck here. It comes off Botman's bum, and then I think he's heel, and it just falls perfectly for Nunez. And take nothing away from that finish. You'll see from this angle especially, Pope's in a really good position, and it's just a brilliant finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think from Newcastle's point of view, because when you always look at someone and think it's 11 men, how have you allowed the team with 10 men to score? But the actual quality from Liverpool before it hits the defender, where you get a little bit of luck, the actual pass from Trent into Salah, the touch to Jota, I mean, it was top quality football in a tight space, lots of bodies around them, and then you get that little bit of luck that you need.
I've got to say as well, I know Nunez will get the headlines, but I think it's Harvey Elliott coming on in midfield. Like he's up to the pace of the Premier League. He knows he's calm in midfield. I think he got them playing a little bit as well, where maybe Endo, his first game, tough place to come to. I think Newcastle were sort of targeting the ball into him, and that was their trigger.
That was their trigger, and they used, as we said, that momentum to go even further. I mean, there were moments where Newcastle could have gone on and got the winner in that game, but in the end, it was Liverpool who got it, and again, it was Nunez.
Yeah, this is where I think you have to be critical of Newcastle. Of course, at 1-1, they're really pushing forward. They've got the extra man, you'd expect that. There's a turnover to the ball here, but Dan Burn goes from left back into centre back. Listen, it's a great finish when Nunez is there, but just keep an eye on Dan Burn. I don't know when he's going to try to play offside, because you see he's got 4 yards on Nunez and he just stops. And before you know it, Nunez, with his pace, he's in. And the big thing about Darwin Nunez, he just stops for a second, he switches off. And the big thing that I would say with Darwin Nunez since he's come to the club, because it hasn't gone according to plan, hence why he's still on the substitutes bench, almost looks like he's the 5th attacker, really, for Jorgen Klopp, is that he's got a mentality, and he showed this last season, where when he misses, it almost feels like it doesn't affect him. He'll keep going, and we know he misses lots of chances, but he gets lots of chances because he keeps making the run, he keeps getting in there. And you know what? For his application he showed, and the stick he's got at times last season, maybe he deserved that, because if you remember early on, he had a really poor first touch, he could have put himself in, but he still makes that run, he still gets in the position, and got his just reward.
Do you not think with his price tag and the goals he scored in pre-season that Klopp might have given him a run out in the first few games? Go and prove, go and justify your fee. You've scored goals in pre-season, go and prove it now in the Premier League.
No, I didn't expect him to start the season. I think it's not about Nunez scoring goals. I think it's the actual tactical setup of the team. So you think of where Liverpool have gone from. They've gone from having a player like Roberto Firmino, who almost helped the midfield, and the 2 wide players got the goals. Liverpool then went to an out-and-out centre-forward, and he got lots of chances, he looked really dangerous, but Liverpool defensively last year were absolutely awful. Now, that's not just down to the centre-forward. I think when they brought Gakpo in, it was a case of we want almost a replica of Roberto Firmino, and he'll come back and help, we'll be more organised. And I think towards the end of last season, Jorgen Klopp in a press conference, he just said something about Nunez, saying he's not up to speed with the language. You just saw the interview, mentioning defensively. And he also mentioned Gakpo and said he's a really intelligent boy. And I thought it was really telling. And when you sort of read quotes and you read between the lines what that means. So I didn't believe for 1 second that Nunez would start for Liverpool this season. And to be honest, I do think going forward, where will he actually fit in? Because I think Jorgen Klopp still wants that man who's actually going to come back and help in midfield rather than out-and-out centre-forward.
But that's then the question, is Darwin Nunez, who Liverpool have paid a huge transfer fee for, going to be an impact player who comes on late on in games?
Yeah, listen, he'll get, there's lots of games, he'll get his role, and listen, on the back of that, does he play next week against Aston Villa? Because Gakpo hasn't really started the season too well, he's played in midfield, but if you're thinking about Liverpool towards the end of last season, it was Gakpo in a deeper role, and if Nunez was going to play, it was almost left wing, it was a decision between him and Diaz. So when we're actually talking about Gakpo, Nunez, it may actually be Diaz-Nunez, really, where Jorgen Klopp may actually see him playing, because I think if Gakpo can get back to what he was doing last season, right now, I think he's first choice for Jorgen Klopp. But listen, that can easily change.
One of the things
they realise how important, not just the result is, how they've gone about getting it, because coming here was always going to be tough. I think Newcastle have gone into this game favourites, 11v11, but the situation they found themselves in, unbelievable result for Liverpool.
As for Newcastle United, they usually finish games so strongly. They're one of the fittest, most athletic sides in the Premier League. How did that happen?
Don't know. Shell-shocked. I think you see some of the Newcastle fans just sitting there in disbelief as well. for Newcastle, but take nothing away from Liverpool. They sat in a really comfortable sort of low block. Didn't like give them too many chances second half, but when they broke, and Nunez especially, he was clinical when he got the 2 chances.
I think Shay's right. I think because Newcastle were in that much control, because they weren't having much trouble in behind them, they were still committing men forward. They were still trying to get the second goal, and they just got hit by a sucker punch. Because last season, you see Newcastle 1-0 up, they'll be going down, they'll be rolling around, the trainer will be coming on, they'll be just doing all sorts to try and get the 3 points.
Now.
Yeah, but they had time on, but you're never going to add the time back that you waste. So I don't know, maybe it was the fact that they were in such control that they just got caught twice.
There is lots to get into later on. As you said, Alisson won't take the headlines from this game, but that's the most saves he's ever made in a Premier League match.